Oh boy. Gotta plug in the phone. Battery almost dead. Was on the phone all morning with technical issues. Yeah, I got frustrated. Ugh. But I held my composure. I was honest with my irritation with the technician. And they said, totally understandable given your situation. But I maintained my composure. I didn't try to pretend like I was peaceful and hunky-dory. I was honest. Said I'm really annoyed. And it all worked out. I am still a little peeved. But because then when I get on my OBS software, the camera freezes up. So then I have to go do some troubleshooting there. As people come in, hopefully, I mean, I'll still do this alone if I need to. Want to wait a little bit because I want to answer questions. This is a chance to have dialogue, especially given the energies that we're facing. We're facing information flow. Let me get over to OBS. Right here, DreamBot. September 3rd, 2025. I'm thinking, I want to have your take on it. The DreamBot is saying strong amount, like expansive amount of information flow. Messenger and information flow online is through the roof on the DreamBot, in my opinion. And then we'll do a live reading as well. Been having a lot of glitches lately. Technical glitches. Is that just the solar flares? Been seeing some social media posts about the Schumann resonance. It was like it's glaringly bright or expansive, highly yang or whatever. Anybody experiencing outages there where you are, or glitches? Internet super slow. We had an interesting, so we have a home office and we also have an office downtown, and two totally different internet providers there. But Angie and I are talking back and forth, and both of our internets, who are serviced by totally different plans, are both extremely slow. Like, that was weird. Warning. Stream's current bit rate is lower than the... Can't read it. Lower than the recommended. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. More technical problems. Okay, let's get rid of the title. Here is our astrology happening right now on September 3rd, 2025. Mars rising. We're in the Central Time Zone. Once again, I just can't help but really appreciate all these planets that are, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but down in the right-hand corner, all coagulated right there in the early part of their sign. And it's the slower planets. And they all just happen to be, or they will be, retrograde Uranus in this next CIRF report. And then we'll have this mini grand trine entirely in retrograde, including Neptune and Saturn. Saturn just touched back into Pisces. Don't see a whole lot of people talking about this, but then again, I'm not all over the YouTube and internet monitoring astrologers. Does anybody know? Anybody? Is anybody talking about this mini grand trine? It's been here for a minute, and it's going to be here for a minute, and its change and its transformation, and it is the slower planets, and they're going to be in retrograde, so that's like the past saying doesn't repeat, it rhymes. And it's going to be transforming, rhyming with past patterns. And particularly in the mental realm, the consciousness. And returning is not such a bad thing unless you're just an evolutionist. Because the evolutionists think it's just like one linear line, no patterns, no cycles of consciousness or human evolution. I mean, like a technology, because it's just we've always evolved, never devolved, and I don't necessarily prescribe to that. I don't know what to believe. I try to have beliefs in all sorts of different ideas and then maybe triangulate. But I think in terms of mental and consciousness, I think that it can be patterned and cyclic. Because I think technology arguably is more cyclic in nature based on what I've seen in all sorts of documentaries. But I think that's what we have here. You have Pluto and Aquarius. So this is this very subtle but powerful Plutonian change in terms of freedom, disclosure, independence, uniqueness, rebellion. No status quo. We can do better than that. Encouraging to achieve higher states of consciousness. And then ironically, Uranus in Gemini, at least for now, he's going to go retrograde back into Taurus, but right now it's a change of mind and mental states. We're allowed to change our minds, right? Should we be judged on something that we've said or thought 5 years ago? Or should we be re-asked the question, do you still believe in blah, blah, blah? Because I think everyone's going to be changing their minds right now. Especially given if this DreamBot run is true or onto something, there's this expansive information flow. It's a fire hose of information that I think is commensurate with the kite. I think what I'm going to do is talk about that later because I haven't introduced that. It goes into the next solar eclipse. I know we're headed into a lunar eclipse, but in 2 weeks after that is the solar eclipse, and that one has the kite with it, which includes the mini grand trine that we've just been talking about. So underneath it all, in the subtle layers, some of us are feeling it because we're more attuned, but it's changing. The whole subconscious realm or superconscious realm is changing and transforming, and it's in the mental realm, the air signs. Okay, enough of that. We have we're in the morning, sun in Virgo over the south node. So again, more of remembering the past rhyming. Not trapped in the past, not wallowing in the past. It's reviewing the past, especially as we head into eclipse season, because when the sun and the moon arrive towards the north and south nodes, it's eclipse time. And so sun, in this case, it's going to be hovering around the south node. And so picking up light packets from the past, reflections, I mean, that's very synergistic with our little mini grand trine with all these planets in retrograde. We have Mercury in domicile of Virgo returning home, but it's going to be starting a combust, meaning that Mercury, the mind, is weakened just a little bit, increasingly weakened as it gets closer to the sun. And we have the Cazimi, but boom, big, and with Mercury in home of Virgo with a Mercury combust. I'm sorry, Cazimi over the south node, where the eclipse will be, where the pinnacle of the kite will be. And then we've got Mars and Jupiter in a square. Mars wants to carry out, there's this pressure. In fact, it's a T-square if we include the lunar emphasis right now in Capricorn. There's a T-square on Mars. Yang wants to pressure to justice, fairness, equality with expansive Jupiter. Don't you care? We need to all care. And all that is in there is this pressure to get towards justice and make it right. Another air sign. So let's look over here. We got 3 air signs, planets in air, 3 in Earth, 4 mutable, 4 cardinal. So pretty balanced there in that regard. Welcome, Stormy. Can't do the 12 signs any longer. There are 13 signs. Ophiuchus was the 13th. Yeah, I don't disagree. That's why I have 13 signs on the sidereal. And that Ophiuchus right over the galactic center, such a thin slice. We hardly ever see it in our CIRF reports. But yeah, I don't disagree with you, and that's why I have it. That's why I include it. Not in the tropical. Just haven't gotten there yet. I might get there. Be another change. Crystal, welcome. Crystal clear. A bit late. No, never late. Zenny. Happy Wednesday, Zenny. Love the journals. Some really cool artwork. Thank you. Okay, so there's your live astrology. That's what we're working with now. A lot of Virgo influence here. Mercury is just hunky-dory. Yeah, there's a square over to Uranus, but that works out well. Uranus in an air sign. Uranus is air, ruler of Aquarius. So that square is just a pressure to think. And for some of us, it's a breath of fresh air for us air signs, I think, even though it's a square. Because Mercury in Virgo can pay attention, can focus, can discern, a lot easier time discerning on things. And so when you have changing minds, I guess it could be taken too far, but I think that's going to be a real pleasant experience. Might have a lot to do with the technical crap that we've been experiencing lately. A lot of options there, from solar flares to Schumann resonance overboard to finagling with the 5G network. By the way, 5G ain't any faster. It's slower. If anything, it's freaking slower. I'm sorry. I'm still passionate about that difficulty this morning. Okay, let's do a reading. Let's calm down. Calm down, Chris. Calm down. Take a few breaths. Welcome, Lee. Lee Coffee de Mayo. I never knew live streams were subject to the commercial gods. Oh crap. I didn't know that either. Don't think I've ever been on a live stream that was interrupted by a commercial. Yeah, wow. Okay, well, I learned something too. Welcome, all of you. Think about what questions you want to ask. And we're going to set the intention, because I'm going to do a live reading with my cool cards. I just love these cards. I got to bounce it back and forth between these windows, though. That's kind of annoying. Got to make sure the cards are actually in view. Let's close that down. Setting the intention. Okay, I have 3 piles. I have planets. We're going to have 1 planet card. We're going to have 1 zodiac sign card and 1 house card. And what this will do is hopefully give the best advice, just what the readers, what the surfers, the National Dream Center viewers need the most. And this is to help all of us. The most relevant advice based on the astrology, based on the influences that we are facing. And it's not just the astrology, although it's probably the vast bulk of it. So that's the intention. The intention is to have given us insight. It's not necessarily what is to give us the strongest influence. It's to give us the maximum amount of insight that we can use practically in the next few days. Okay, so now without looking at it, I'm just waiting for the single card. There it is. Oh, wow. Look at that. We just talked about it. South Node. Did not do that on purpose. Okay, so we have the planet. And we keep the intention going because we want to know what is relevant for us. It's just suggestions from the universe, from our higher selves, from the superconscious, and waiting for that card. So we're in Cancer. South Node in Cancer. And now we need a house. Maintaining that intention with a relaxed mind, a peaceful heart, not staring at my pile. I'm just staring at the zodiac, at the live chart, and waiting for that single card to just sort of pop out. And there it is. 6th house. There it is. Okay, so 6th house is about self-care, your habits, servicing the kind of the area that you're in. Routines are in there. So South Node, obviously the past influences, where we've been before. Maybe I spin this so you can see it. I can't zoom in anymore on that one. All right, South Node in Cancer in the 6th house is what? Is the reading that we were intentioning. It's we can kind of correlate it to what we were talking about before, but that wasn't the intention. South Node, I think, is really relevant, especially as we head towards the eclipses, the eclipse season, because it happens over the nodes. And it starts with the South Node. The moon will head towards the North Node. But anyway, get back to the reading. South Node, past. Karmic influence. Past patterns. Past influences. Just the past. Also reflective of the things that you want to get rid of. Remember, we're heading into a lunar eclipse full moon, which is the premium time to sacrifice things that no longer serve you. That is the South Node as well. Things that you need to consider getting rid of. Culling, if you will. And then in Cancer this is what our adjectives are, is like nurturingly, caringly, intuitively, protectively. We want to either recall, reflect. So the action is the South Node, or cull or sacrifice, get rid of, eliminate the things that we protected, but in areas of self-care, healing, self-healing. Maybe some of the check this out. Some of the things in the past that you thought were really good for you, and you did it, maybe weren't good for you. Maybe check the details of the sourcing. Because just milk, anymore, I kind of going off on this tangent, but just work with me here. We, in this area of nutrition especially, you tend to get these pockets of all good and all bad. So like milk, oh, it's bad. Well, I mean, so much more nuanced than that. It's how much pasteurization did it go through? How much were the cows eating grass? Were even eating grass, or were they fed grains? I mean, that makes a big difference. And then were they eating grains that had a bunch of glyphosate on it? I mean, all these nuances are important, especially in the area of sixth house of routine. If it's in the sixth house, it's going to be something that you're doing over and over and over again, probably to the point where you don't even know you're doing it, because it's a habit, and that's the sixth house. So Cancer, protection, caring, compassion, helping, nurturing. So nurturing the things of the past. How about the things that are in the past that you need to cull and consider getting rid of? Are the things that you thought were nurturing and no longer are, or it went too far, or maybe you need to add more of the caring into your self-care. I think we can all care for ourselves better. How is your self-compassion? How is your self-love? I'd say that is the most efficient thing that is across all my dozens of clients, current clients. If we include past clients, hundreds or thousands of clients, this is probably the most efficient of all, is self-love. So consider thinking about protecting self-love, self-healing, changing your mindsets to foster that. In the words of, I'm not quoting anybody, but the idea of epigenetics. So genetics, one thing, that was the old kind of model. And now we have the epigenetics, and this is almost becoming like ancient in a way. Bruce Lipton, and he's been around for decades, I think. Is this idea of the power of the environment. So it's one thing to have the gene, it's another thing to have the environment to express the gene or not express the gene. There's genes that you would like to express, and there's genes that you would like to keep from expressing. Well, mind and mental states is a really important thing in our astrology right now, from Mercury and Virgo to the mini grand trine with Pluto and Uranus in air signs. The way you think will establish the foundation or the environment with which your genes are swimming in. So make sure you've got a good mindset. So health, healing, good mindsets, add in some self-love. Can it be too much? Sure. Like, I don't think we really see it. It might look like someone really overly loves themselves, but that's more of a security complex, right? As they're trying to hide their lack of self-love by being overconfident or arrogant. But anyway, make sure it's in balance. All right, there's your reading. Any questions? Any questions there? All right, we'll keep this here in case things get more relevant to our reading, and then we will proceed. Let's go to the DreamBot. How about that? Let's go check in with the DreamBot. All right, just to give you an overview, the title kind of says it all. The title of this video was Fire Hose of Information. 11, whopping 11 words are clearly inside like the internet and messaging and communities but information flow. Then you have time and date. That's not unusual, but I'm going to show you something that is unusual and doesn't seem to belong. I don't have an explanation for it. And then we have senses and sensory. We'll go over that. And then expansive, and that definitely matches all the alignments with Jupiter. And we'll look at that. All right, so information flow is the orange. Well, there you have it. Messenger. That's Mercury, my opinion. Mercury, workplace. Yeah, Virgo. Chat, browser, log, information, loading, menu navigation, members, community. Yeah. Well, I mean, you could explain all these by the bot. Where does the bot get these dreams? Well, it gets them in these forums that are online. So you're probably going to get a lot of these words online. But the way it works is it develops a baseline. The bot develops a baseline. And when the hits come back for these words, let's say navigation, so let's say it has 25 instances of the word navigation. Well, it'll only show up on this bot run, not because it has more than, say music. It's because its relationship to the baseline is a lot more. So we have 11 words that are way above its baseline, and that's significant, even though the bot goes to these communities online and pulls the information. So anyway, still important. And then time, day is the red. Now here's the weird part. Two weird things. Okay, obviously September is not weird. That makes sense. We're in the first part of September. We'd expect that to be there. The word August is gone, but not only on the run, but stays like way up high. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. Then we have precognition, which is prior to, so that's a time stamp. We have the word date, and then we have 2023. That doesn't seem to belong there. Obviously 2025 belongs there, but 2023, what do you make of that? Put your opinions down there. Is there something in 2023 that we need to be pulling from here? Or is it just totally random? And then the blue arrows are senses. These are pretty important, poignant in my opinion. Audio, precognition, love, need, spirituality, and music. So these are the things these are stimuli that create senses, that come through the senses. And half of them are more like otherly or very the subtle stuff, the intuitive, like spirituality and precognition is related to vision, but it's more of a intuitive vision. Love is it's not really a sense, it's a stimuli that causes a feeling. Same thing with need. You have a need, creates an emotion creates the behavior. Most of the time, all unconscious. Unless you are building your mindfulness and awareness, which I encourage you to do. And then we have green, expansive, bigger, better, strong. At the top, this is unusual, the word oak. Well, what does oak have to do with any of these things? I almost thought aug, like an auger, but like something that chops the tree down. But I think it has to do with expansive. So add, promoted, count, and expand. Why? Well, oak represents big, solid stability, earthiness, big roots, rooted, but it denotes like more, bigger. Like the first kind of image with oak is not just like rock solid, but like big. And so that matches expand and promoted. And so it's just this expansive feeling. It's not strong, but it's earthy. And so I think that the expansive is correlated with, let's go back to here. Let's go to the live chart. You're going to see as we head into eclipse season that Mercury, Sun, and South Node are all going to be colliding in Virgo. Not colliding, but just sort of coagulating all together. And the expansive piece comes in with Jupiter. There's going to be a sextile over here. And it's going to be a pretty expansive, good, opportunistic feel with Jupiter. We talked about this in the CIRF report. So I think that's where the collective is. I think the collective with this run is both now, so the vast majority of words are the information flow. So I think that's Mercury in Virgo and not combust with the sun. And it's also in, the information flow is also with Uranus and Gemini. It's going to turn station in retrograde, and then Pluto and Aquarius. All these mental and air type signs. I think that's what it's focused on. And there is going to be a big presence, especially on the solar eclipse. The solar eclipse will be in very late Virgo. And Mercury will be there, and we'll have the kite. And the kite the axis will be the sun and Saturn in almost a perfect opposition. The kite, very transformative, very airy, very changing your mind kind of stuff, but also very practical. So what is it good for? Well, when you got a mix of air signs, mental acuity, and then able to practically put it into practice, I think that's absolutely amazing energy. So it has a channel. It has a channel out to the five senses, which is also in the DreamBot run. All right. Welcome, Miss Honey B. Welcome, Milos. CJ Star Monkey. Oh, peace, love, and light, says Prince Judah Vaughn Jackson. What a handle name. Welcome, Mary. Oceans of emotion, inner seeing, clairvoyance. Seeing is now strong. Yes. Yes, and that's what I think as well. There will be the Pisces part of that kite at the eclipse. And so I call it, on that kite, you've got that channel that really opens. Let me go find it. I'll show you. And by the way, I already did this CIRF report. This is the one, this is number 470, because we're on vacation, but I wanted to make sure that that's already loaded up to both YouTube and Rumble. And it's scheduled for the following, next Monday. Okay, but let me show you a little bit since you're here. Doop, doop, doop. Here we go. This one. Let me just show you. Oh, I gotta unzoom this. There we go. And then when we get done with this, I'll go through questions. So get those ready. Okay, yeah, because you got new moon. The new moon solar eclipse in Virgo. Check that out. Look at that channel in this grand trine. It's a it's a grand air trine with Mercury side of things, but then it's with the new moon, another grand trine. So it brings in that practicality of Virgo. And remember, this is a new whole eclipse cycle that's starting. So it rules the next approximately 5+ months full of separate new moons and full moons, but they're all in service to this Virgo new moon right here. And the channel is amazing. We have all elements here. We've got the fire with dreaming big with Neptune. We have the Pisces with the North Node in Saturn, and then we've got obviously the Earth with the new moon is where that is, and then obviously the grand air trine at the same time, and then we'll have the fall equinox right after that. Oh, I don't think yeah, oh, that's a late ad. Fall equinox, my apologies. So sun goes into Libra. I don't think I had that in the CIRF report. Oh well, you're here. And our viewers are astute and smart. Okay, so what questions do we want to ask? I already have the next CIRF report. This is number 470 already loaded. And that's the only thing missing, I think, that I know of is this fall, just the titling of it is fall equinox. So sorry, spent most of the time on the solar eclipse. Or did I? Oh, no. Okay. Never mind. I haven't done this report. It's the 469 that I loaded up. Okay. So we're good. I haven't done that one. That one will be done when we get back from vacation. So I already loaded the 469. That's next Monday. 468 is the one I just did. And this is the determination that I think is also, so both the influence and the solution for this coming week. This starts tomorrow. This CIRF window starts tomorrow. The influence and the solution talk a heavy amount of determination. And I think that's this not only Mars square Jupiter, but also the big presence in Virgo. 2 new moons in a row in Virgo, and the second one coming up with a solar eclipse. And so that one I'll have on, so you can put it on your calendar. On the 15th of September, that CIRF report's coming out. That one, it will be the solar eclipse and the fall equinox. CJ Star Monkey says Oak Island, former civilization of harmony before Colombo. I don't know. Oak Island. Lee says one in Nova Scotia and another one in North Carolina. Fun in Colorado. Stop by Montrose for a beverage and chat. Okay. I don't know where that is, but I'll look it up. Questions? When will the world end? Nobody asked that. I just had that in my mind. It won't end. The world won't end. That's my prediction. I've seen so many people predicting the world will end, and this time they get humiliated because it doesn't happen. Yeah, doesn't happen. Won't happen. Now, might progress to new Earth and old Earth. Might be doing something like that, right? Dolores Cannon's work. What do you think about this? Dolores Cannon and Edgar Cayce both had these kind of cataclysmic sort of predictions, and I'm not calling them wrong, but my pattern that I'm seeing here is that these clairvoyants sort of, like have this wonderful gift, and then it's sort of like late in the in the life cycle. This is just my observation. I could be totally wrong. I don't know a lot about Dolores Cannon. I know a little bit more about the other guy I mentioned. But anyway, off they go. They, doing really well, healing, very insightful, sort of love and light, and then takes a nosedive, and all of a sudden it's fear and the world's ending and cataclysm. And look at this map that Edgar Casey apparently made, or maybe it's sourced from someone else, where all the water is basically flooded the United States and there's only little pockets of islands. The Mississippi divides us. Anyway. Why? What happened? Why did it become so fear-based? Was that something that Edgar Casey had? Does anybody have any theories on that? Maybe it was a projection, complete projection, that things weren't going well within, and so it became disturbed, and the channeling maybe still came in, but then got interpreted by the ill inside. I don't know. I just don't know. CJ Star Monkey says Jung as well. It ends and begins every day. Every minute. Ends and begins every minute. So remember, as we stumble upon this first eclipse, this full moon in Pisces unlocks. It's a premonition of this this channel, this activation, this monumental Pisces Virgo channel axis. And the full moon lunar eclipse, it'll ignite gate 63, line 5. And I think it's so cool because it's needed from the, to get to the new beginning. Are we bringing in traditions? Are we just going to get rid of, certainly we're not going to get rid of all traditions. What would that look like? That would look like everyone's internal glass house gets decimated. And when that happens, a certain percent of the population just goes crazy, like literally crazy. That glass house is just a metaphor, but it's built of glass, meaning it's very fragile. And people think that it's not fragile, and they formulate the foundation of their world, and this is how the world works, and if I do this, then this, and this is the beliefs that I have, and I wouldn't believe any other way. Well, they create this glass house, and then sometimes the storm comes in, the storm of information, the evidence, the proof, or some really bad thing happens, or big change happens in their life, chung chung, and it decimates their glass house. And when that happens, some people just can't adapt. They're psychologically inflexible and rigid in their thinking, and they want to hold on to but I thought that and just can't compute, because clearly what just happened negates exactly what they believed. And so chung chung, there was a guy over in Esalen Institute, Stanislav Grof, and proposed this spiritual emergence and spiritual emergency. And his version of spiritual emergency was basically this glass house just gets decimated. Maybe you see a ghost, and you saw the ghost. It's not like there was any question, or you had a dream and it was very vivid, and then it happened a day or a week or a month later. And whereas your old belief system didn't include stuff like that. So I was an atheist, and then this happens, what the chung chung. And then now I've got to quickly try to reassemble this glass house. So anyway, I think the astrology is like this right now, especially with the Pluto and Uranus, but also the eclipses coming up with all elements, at least on the solar eclipse. Oh, interesting times. And today the DreamBot says information overload. That's my opinion. All right. Yes, still drinking coffee. And next, when this ends, it'll be green tea with a couple of other herbs in there to clean up my system. Talk about very sixth house. Sixth house. Remember the reading. Look into it. South node in Cancer in the sixth house. Okay, so protect your routines, protect that which serves you. Try to start culling and getting rid of the things that no longer serve you. Get ready for that full moon lunar eclipse. That's the time to do it. Sacrifice it to the, intentionally sacrifice it to the full moon. All right, everybody. That's a wrap. Thank you all for being here and having a good time with me. And you'll have another video that comes out. It's the 469. Sorry, I said 470 earlier, but that's already loaded. I will not have a DreamBot next week because we're on vacation. All right, so we're skipping a week, and I probably won't even bring my computer with me because I need some time to just veg, and that's what we're gonna do. All right, take care, everybody. Love and light. Thank you so much for being here. Namaste.